Somehow, anti-meta Charmers has found its way out here to being successful. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. We have your breakdown here for this 2v2 style of tournament, and this is actually insane that Charmers of all decks managed to climb their way up into first place here, and I want to think a lot of the success of this just to how anti-meta that this build is. You know, sporting off your Dimensional Fissures, your Secret Village, you know, you have the Iron Thunder in here as well, and if things do go sideways, it's not like you can't turbo out a Zeus through, you know, your Zodiac cards to give you that edge to kind of overcome your opponent. And post-side decking, I mean, you have Sphere Modes, you have Dimension Shifters, you have all of this standardized power cards here kind of help you at least try to overcome the meta that your opponent might be putting you in. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that Charmers won this event, I was like, no way. Like, we actually have a Charmer build, and yes, we do. Now, their teammate here was actually Pendulums, and this was actually kind of cool to see as well, because the fact that both of these builds were kind of able to kind of combo up together and find success is actually pretty good. Now, it must be nice to be able to play the Starving Venom, Greedy Venomy Fusion Dragon in here to be able to go through like the combo lines, and of course, you know, Beyond the Pendulum, Exceed the Pendulum, and Electromite, all of the necessary utility options available to you to create the perfect pendulum strategy, as we're going to call it here. I also do see that we are setting 2 Epsilon, 1 Gamma with the driver, so you are doing a lot of the same standard stuff that you've been pretty used to seeing out here with a build like this. But honestly, I don't really have anything to say about this. I think it's cool to see that Pendulums were able to combo up very, very nicely with a anti-meta style of deck and overcome the meta. Now, second place down here, we had Voiceless Voice. Now, speaking of, I mean, Voiceless Voice, I mean, after their power up in the last set, this deck has been a major OCG competitor. Like, it's actually been pretty refreshing to actually see this deck kind of doing its thing here. But as time has kind of gone on, I mean, it's been kind of redundant, I feel like, at this point, but it's still one of the best meta challengers. And this build's only playing 1 Dynamondo, which I guess is understandable. Like, you're going to try out different options to kind of see which ways that you can go about things. I also see here that they are playing the Black Goat Laughs down there in the side deck. We've been starting to see a lot more players kind of bridge towards that card as a specific option card to kind of stop certain problematic cards. And, you know, especially if you know you're going into your fire matchup and you need to cut off something, honestly, the GOAT might be one of the best options to kind of help you with that, even though it is a trap. And then we have Ogdoadic Evilzor. I actually expected the next time to see this deck show up with Rika, but no, we actually are playing this Evilzor package in here because it kind of helps make the deck into a lot more consistent of a menace, actually. I think by far that this is probably the most interesting little idea that you can add, because you also do see we are sporting off the Planet Pollutant virus in here as well, and that's kind of crazy in itself to kind of consider out here. That, you know, you have this deck that is taking advantage of all these different reptile interactions, and you're able to play these power cards to devastate your opponent and obviously try to put you into the absolute best game-winning position that you can. Do not underestimate the ideas like this, because this is the kind of stuff that people look to and go, wow, you know, like, we can actually play that? Yes, you can actually. The little mini ideas for 500. We have more copies of Voiceless Voice. Well, I guess if you were questioning the meta competition in this event, you have a lot of Voiceless Voice present, which I think is good to kind of understand out here that, you know, you do have very strong meta. Build these hand traps, man. These double bells, this double Veiler, triple Ash, you have your Maxis in here. You have the double Sarvis, the double Skull Guardian. Looks like they're finally pulling a page out of the TCG book here in order to, you know, use the full little advantage trees that you can. We are sporting off the double SP Little Knight, the double Dynamondo as well in the side deck. Holy moly. And of course you do see the Underworld Goddess in here. That way you can contact off with your opponent's field and be able to do some things. Post side decking, you do see different Dimension Ground here as a 2-0. You also have Thrust as well, and of course the Heavy Storm. You know, the fact that we can actually use Heavy Storm in this format, I still think is some of the coolest stuff that we can actually have going for us here. And of course, so we did have Snake Eyes. It was just all the way back here. So it looks like for this event, Snake Eyes didn't have a very good time. I do once again want to point out down here, you do see the little creepy black mask for the goat showing up down here again in the side deck. You do see Thrust to be able to toggle on into it as well. So we finally have reached the point here that the creepy black goat mask is turning into a tech choice out here. I actually wonder how long that's going to take to stick around, or if that's going to be something that's kind of going to fade away into the distance. But for this build, most of this feels incredibly powerful. You do see the crossout designator as a 1-of in here. Yeah, the OCG is going to play it because it's limited to 1 in their format, right? Like, you have absolutely no reason not to try to maximize the best results that you can, because you want to make sure that you're able to take advantage of it and be able to play it to the best of your abilities, aka sack your opponent really hard. Next up, oh man, 60 card Noid. Oh man, okay, we are playing the triple left arm offering. Wow. Okay, well, I mean, to be fair, if you see that left arm offering resolve, you're good to go. You have double transaction rollback in here. You do have the Mayakashi trap card in here as well. I do see that we are sporting off triple Dark Fusion. The Dark Fusion being able to make whatever you're going to make with it, basically unaffected by hand traps, I still think is the funniest thing in the world. But this deck is pure gas. You have the Monster Gates, the Reasonings. All right, like, you can toggle into a Grass Looks Greener to be able to get your deck going. And that's a lot to think about here. When you have this many options kind of dropping into a pool here for you to be able to mess around with, I do think that this is probably what you want to be seeing in here in terms of card pool. So good stuff. And the teammate for this was actually 60 card Madolche. Okay, so the Candy Treats with Horus cards. And then you're playing Grass Looks Greener in this. Well, I guess the whole point here is you're trying to turbo mill as much as you can. I also see that we are playing the Blast Held by Tribute down here as well for Obelisk, the little anime card that we had. That's absolutely freaking hilarious that this deck actually took a page out of trying to play that. I see we're playing the Galactic Karibo down here as well. Build is also playing the triple copies of Kaiser Coliseum. They're trying to do, you know, the immediate little soft locks to make sure that, you know, the monster sticks around on the field so you can kind of, you know, have it do your thing. Outside of that, I mean, this tournament breakdown is simply hilarious. You know, just the pure madness that you have for this event in terms of the decks present was actually so cool. Now, we do have another tournament here. This one was sporting off the Melodious with the Pendulum Magicians, and this has been a pretty common theme in the OCG as of late, where we've been seeing people trying to merge, you know, Pendulum good stuff with more Pendulum good stuff, and basically the Melodious package being this free little interaction tools for a deck like this is actually pretty insane. You know, combining these engines and being able to obviously toggle through the Electromites to set you up to do your thing. Yeah, it's kind of turned into a very strong deck. Next up here we have Mathmech sporting off Melodious cards. Oh man, this just showcases how stupid Ostinato is as a card, you know. If you're actually able to see Ostinato, you can kind of go through all these little stupid lines of play and then force your opponent into a really bad position that your opponent's like, what am I supposed to do about this? You see the triple Small World, the triple Silent Mining. Yeah, thank you, Circular, for being such an amazing card to allow something like this to actually come to fruition. I do see we also had Memento back here as well. I didn't necessarily think we would see Memento of all things back here, but, you know, we do see the Power of Bone Party actually doing its thing with the new fusion support here. This deck gets a chance to see new breath be breathed into it, showcasing, you know, hey, You know, we're a lot stronger of a meta competitor than we used to be, and I actually think the fact that you have this Memento package just being so free for this deck now is actually pretty good. And their last list here, yes, more Herald and Friends, sporting off the Nadir package as per usual. Double pre-prep in here, and we're also playing the mini Shadal package in here as well. Yeah, you gotta love being able to make a window on your opponent so that they can't actually, you know, get the chance to play the game. It's all about the soft locks and making sure that they actually cannot. Wow. I'm actually kind of impressed with this. What do you guys think about this breakdown? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.